question I chose to research is, does courage play a significant role in moral disobedience, specifically focusing on courage within moral athletic disobedience? I came to the conclusion that yes, moral disobedience is good because it shows how courage, through disobeying, elicits change, and how courage from an influential individual can encourage spectators to elicit change within their communities as well. Through this presentation, I will describe instances where athletes used their courage to morally disobey the status quo and create much needed change and recognition within their communities. They do this to not only improve the communities, but to also improve their own experiences and well-being. To answer this question, we need to first understand what moral disobedience is. According to an article written by Conter and Arut, disobedience itself can be seen as negative, as typically when someone disobeys, they are doing something wrong. However, there are forms of disobedience that fall under a category that are more beneficial than negative. These are called moral or intelligent. One of the most common types of moral disobedience is civil disobedience. According to David Tyndall, a professor of sociology at the University of British Columbia, he describes civil disobedience as a nonviolent action utilized to elicit change. An example of this would be environmentalists blocking a logging road. He specifies that a nonviolent civil disobedience, if this were violent civil disobedience, it would be viewed as negative. Moral disobedience typically occurs when a code or need is being broken and not met. These individuals who are morally disobeying are making a statement to elicit change within their community as a last resort, whether it be sports, a workplace, or nationwide request for change. It is commonly accepted that it takes courage to disobey in any form, as the individual must have the stamina and strength to withstand the backlash from the community that they are standing against, and the possibility of jeopardizing their standing in life. It takes a specific courage to disobey and make change, as the individual disobeying not only changes their life, they change many lives depending on the circumstances that they are asking for change. Courage is often associated with overcoming physical challenges and triumphing in the face of adversity. Athletes who persevere through injuries, personal tragedies, and daunting circumstances are celebrated for the displays of courage because they stay in their sport. However, there exists another dimension of courage within sports community, moral disobedience, where an athlete typically would go against and stay at home because of their personal tragedies and injuries that they can't withstand through their sport. According to the National Library of Medicine, moral disobedience requires courage within the sports community, as the courage needed to elicit change within the worldwide community is immense. Many athletes,
Just go back and load it again.
Many athletes utilize their platform as respected individuals to make beneficial changes to their specific sports for future generations. An article from the Washington Post emphasizes the importance of athletes to make a change. As Jerry Brewer states, sports have seen a smattering of boycotts. They have seen demonstrations before and after games, but it's novel to see an entire league full of different viewpoints and values sacrificing boldly for one specific cause. End quote. This was in response to NBA players sitting out for part of the playoffs in 2020, in response to racism within the sport and the world as a whole. This was a turning point in history. As stated by Brewer, this had never been done before. The courage and bravery the athletes must have had to willingly opt out of an occasion they had been working their whole lives to get to must have been immense. The athletes understand that what they are protesting is bigger than their sports, their individual lives, and they understand the type of courage they must have and continue to have to enforce the change. Another individual that is morally disobeyed to elicit change and recognition within the sports community is Simone Biles. Simone Biles chose to opt out of the Olympic Games because of personal health struggles. She received a lot of criticism for removing herself from the Olympics, which is a team sport, because of her individual problem. According to Joanne Neeson, who published an article for The Guardian in 2021, recounts an interview she conducted where an individual stated that Biles has been to different standards, or has held to a different standard, as she should apologize to her fellow gymnasts for quitting. She wasn't there for them, and that represents a fundamental breach of the most important aspect of team sports, end quote. This shows what Biles is advocating for, the recognition of individual mental health in a team sport. Although Biles understood that she would receive backlash from the community, she utilized her courage to take the time for herself and be a role model for athletes who might not have felt comfortable stepping out of their sports because of mental health problems beforehand. Many individuals not only felt empathy towards Biles' story, but they also felt recognized. Marcus Thompson, a lead columnist at The Athletic, states, "In doing so, I found connectivity with the courage of Biles," which goes to show how one individual's actions can do and create a connection within individuals that were affected in similar ways within other communities. Biles' attempt to make the Olympics more understanding of mental health problems has created a large space where athletes feel more comfortable to come forward and talk about their own mental health problems within a team sport. Although there is no specific solution to changing sports, or to changing sports in general, as these problems take years and years to create and years to take down, it is imperative that sports management and communities recognize the individuals that they are fighting for change, as they must start implementing those requests for change into their systems once they come up. Athletes who morally disobey to demand change must be recognized for their strength and courage instead of their disobedience to their sport. When an athlete disobeys, they are trying to create a change they have been requesting for a long time. The denial of their requests leads them to the extreme, which is disobeying. Even if it is intelligent or moral, that is an extreme. The sports society must start relieving the stigma around athletes asking for help or change within their respective sports. Yes, courage plays an extremely important role in moral disobedience, and growth must be encouraged.
Okay. Round of applause. How did your research question evolve as you moved through the process?
At the beginning of my research, I was asking the question, how does moral disobedience contribute to the growth of courage within the sports community? However, when I was researching, only a couple of credible authors came up, and 2 of those articles I found were actually artifacts that were a part of this. So I tweaked it to saying, the opposite, how does courage introduce moral disobedience, and how can it contribute to the changes that can be created?
Okay, good. What are the implications of your findings to the community?
The implications of my findings to the community can be very large, as it's an extremely recognized, athletes are extremely recognized for their political beliefs and personal beliefs, and the implications of figuring out how to encourage moral disobedience within the athletes community can contribute to the encouragement of many other people within other communities who will watch the athletes perform.
Okay, thank you.